You're listening to the Maryland Fishing Line, a production of the Chesapeake Angler Magazine. And now your host, Brian Rains.
Hey everybody, I'm Brian.
I'm Joey.
Welcome to the Maryland Fishing Line, episode 13. Does that mean it's an unlucky episode, Joey? No, we're not going to say that. Maybe we should have skipped 13.
We're all
gone
always
12
lucky.
to 14 because fishing, you know?
Yep.
Today is Tuesday, August 18th, 2020. This is a podcast where we talk about fishing throughout the great state of Maryland. The Maryland Fishing Line is a production of the Angler Magazine Chesapeake Edition, and the Chesapeake Angler can be found throughout southern Maryland and Arundel County and the Eastern Shore. If you would like to see it in your area and it's not there, let me know. We'll get it there.
You bring some new ones tomorrow to the bike shop.
Yes,
I'll
I've
take
actually
them
got
to
them
the
in my
paddle
truck. I got them out of my truck. I'll give them to you when we go back in. I know it's been a busy week. Joey, you fished a lot this week.
Did I?
Yeah, well, you were showing me pictures of redfish all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was yesterday. I'm actually trying to think when I did. I know I fished. I was fishing more.
I've been fishing, and Rona is still a thing because 2020, you know?
Yep.
Before we get too deep into all of that, though, let's talk about what's going on around the state. Folks, please remember that all Maryland areas of the bay and tidal rivers will be closed to striped bass fishing from August 16th through August 31st. And then the main stem of the Potomac River does open back up on August 21st. I'm not really exactly sure why they.
It's because Virginia.
Oh, you're probably right. You're probably right.
Virginia is always mucking stuff up.
Surface temperatures in the bay are heading back up into the normal range after the tropical storm rolled through and cooled the water off. But we're seeing some colder mornings now, Joey. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
That's the beginnings of the fall change. The big hitters this week, obviously, spot, white perch, and Spanish mackerel are leading the charge. What's going on with striped bass, Joey?
As stated earlier, don't fish for them. It is shut down until the end of August, so let them go. Not let them go, let them be. But you'll probably encounter some bycatch, which I did this week on accident. But, if you do, be careful with them. Don't even take them out of water. Get a net or something. I'll get to mine, but just be careful.
Play them quick. Don't play them out.
There's too many other types of fish around here right now anyway.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's bycatch, but
inevitably that's going to happen because they're here.
Yeah.
So if you do, then like I said, just handle them quick. Bluefish. I'm hearing some reports of larger bluefish showing up in the mix running alongside Spanish mackerel. There are obviously still lots of smaller bluefish schooling on the surface, which, by the way, is a great way to find those bigger red drum, as they're typically going to be underneath all of that chaos. You can also start thinking now about trolling up some of those bluefish. The size is there. And make sure to stock up on your soft plastics because bluefish love to eat the tails.
Oh, yeah. I had a hook in there. Cobia. The cobia fishing is still okay around the middle grounds and the target ship in the mud leads. What is the mud leads?
Mud flats.
Oh,
that same general vicinity.
Mud flats. You can trum, you can sight cast, you can troll for those, whichever you prefer. They all work. Get your tower out or your ladder and head out to middle of the bay.
I saw some guys at Mallows Bay not too long ago came out with a John boat.
With a ladder?
Had a ladder. I think it was the day we fished together out there. Remember that? He had like an electrical 6-foot electrical ladder in the middle middle of the John boat, and he was standing up on top of it, like standing on top rung, the thing you're not supposed to do. It was middle of the day too. That was a little weird. So redfish and puppy drum. Looking for larger red drum under those schools of breaking bluefish and Spanish mackerel. They're down there cleaning up all the mess that those little toothy critters leave behind. Go after them with some large plastics or some spoons. Those big fish are going to be well outside the upper limit of the slot, but they are great catch and release fun. So go on the looks for them.
The speckled trout, they continue to be a mainstay for shallow water fishermen throwing soft plastics. Remember, grass beds hold, or they're kind of key for specs right now.
They should be around well into the fall.
Yeah,
so
they're here to stay.
Spanish mackerel bite continues to be hot. If you like shallow water fishing on the bay, get on these guys in the morning. 4 to 5 inch plastics with a light jig head. I've heard in particular that there are a lot of Spanish mackerel and bluefish in breaking schools at the mouth of the Patuxent out there by Cedar Point.
I haven't been Cedar Point in years. White perch and spot. White perch are everywhere. Literally.
They're everywhere.
I think if you go out and you don't catch a white perch, you're not putting your rod in the water or your line in the water. For the spot, double check hook, I can't read tonight. Double hook bottom rigs with bloodworms, if you can find bloodworms. That works for perch too. Add a small spinner on some moving tides, and you're most likely going to find those
little beetle spins. You're gonna hook up with some puppy drum that way too, right?
Yeah, those are almost like the perch now. If you know what to do, you can really nail them.
Yeah. Croaker. There are some small croaker. We're hearing lots of reports of them. But if you do encounter a croaker, they are short. Get them back in the water quick, because these are the croaker that we're going to be dreaming about coming back, hopefully in 2021 or 2022. Because, man, I'd love to get a nice big 17 to 20 inch croaker run. Oh, the days.
The old largemouth, kind of the thing all summer. Morning and evening is the best for your whopper ploppers and buzz baits and your topwater stuff. And they do go deep and hold tight to structure during the day. They like that shade. Slow fishing plastics or jigs on structure and laydowns when the sun is high is your best bet.
Snakehead. Look for snakehead in shallow water areas early and late in the day. That's why there's a big buy. You go looking for largemouth and you're going to find snakehead. You go looking for snakehead, you're going to find largemouth in the middle of the water. Some of these fish, though, some snakehead are currently sitting on fry balls, which is fun to watch, but don't waste a lot of time there. Hang out for a hot minute. Those parents that are guarding that fry ball are not going to be eager to take a lure.
The catfish also everywhere there is water. They can be caught on fresh cut bait, chicken livers, clam snouts, and a variety of other stinky baits. A great slow down fishing alternative for the striped bass right now, and they're pretty good to eat.
Mm-hmm. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I'd really like to go just sit in a lawn chair or just sit in the kayak out on some deep water.
I think your creek, like the back of your creek, probably the creek over here.
Oh, I caught one that was probably a 5-pound channel cat in one of the crab pots.
Oh yeah, I mean they're fun. They're fun to catch. I think too big. I think most fish, once you get too big, don't taste well. But you get the decent sized middle ones. Catfish tastes so good.
Oh yeah, fresh catfish, blackened. Over some rice. Oh my goodness,
I love me catfish.
Man, all we do is talk about.
I think that's my favorite fish to eat.
Yeah,
except for snakehead, and I haven't had a lot of snakehead. But
I'm throwing crabs into the report now.
Oh yeah,
biggest crabs are being caught in 12 to 15 feet of water on oyster bars in the mid and lower bay. Upper bay is a little slow. Shallower areas are going to have an abundance of smaller crabs with maybe a few big jimmies mixed in. Lots of females too. So if you're looking to put big crabs in a bushel basket, that 12 to 15 feet of water on oyster bars. If you're looking to fill a basket because maybe it's, just your relatives and you're cooking crabs for them, you want some of the smaller crabs, I might just help in that shallower water. So, folks, don't forget the YouTube channel. We are doing an August monthly giveaway that's in association with our YouTube channel. And there's lots of different ways to enter. It's not just a YouTube thing. And you can enter to win a $25 Bass Pro Shops e-gift card. Not that they're going to have anything in stock for you to buy. You can go to our Facebook page, look for the tab on the left, or I'm going to put a link in the description or the show notes, however you are consuming this podcast. I was up in the Bass Pro Shop not too long ago, Joey, and it literally is empty shelves.
I was in
empty
Dick's
shelves.
the other day. It's empty shelves.
It's crazy. But, the same time, you can go online and still get that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're just pulling everything back from the stores and keeping it consolidated and central.
Yeah.
I was looking just for something stupid like O-rings because I like to fish wacky.
Oh, you want some?
No, I've got a whole bunch of them now.
I got some upstairs.
I looked for them in the store, and the guy was like, no, I haven't had them in weeks. And I went online, like literally on my phone as I was standing in the store. I was like, click, click, bought 2 or 3 bags of them. Like, whatever.
The only reason I'm going to go to the tackle box if I'm around here to buy my stuff, but we were at Kohl's returning something from Amazon, which is actually really easy. You go to Kohl's, drop off your Amazon mispurchase.
Really? I didn't know you could do that.
You literally just drop it off.
Will they take like fishing tackle back that I don't want anymore?
Well, if you bought it off Amazon. Anyway, it's as easy as getting your QR code for your return. They scan it and they just tape it up.
That's pretty cool. I did not know
anyway,
that.
because our Dick's is next door, but I wanted like Mr. Twister tails, little grubs. That's what I've been doing really well when I'm fishing light tackle for the reds and stuff. But I bought the last 2 packs, like empty shelves. It's crazy.
You know what I've had a hard time finding this year is
fish.
No, I haven't had any hard time finding.
You're doing pretty good at that.
Black and blue Senko in 5-inch. I have had a horrible time finding those, and now, but I did stock up a lot on watermelon and some natural colors, and now that the water's getting weedy, the natural colors are working better. So definitely jump on that August giveaway, because we've got this week and next week, and then September 1st rolls around, and that does close August 31st. I will be selecting a winner on September 1st.
Yep.
Looking at the magazine, the September issue just went to the printer. It's always a joyous occasion for me when I can put the finishing touches.
I feel like you just finished the other one.
I know. You hit the InDesign, it's finished, and then off it goes to the printer. But once again this month, we filled up the brag board. And if you would happen to want to see your catch in print, you can send them to us at theanglerchesapeake@gmail.com. Please just make sure to include a very high resolution, the highest resolution image suitable for printing that you have. Got a lot of lady anglers this month. Got a lot of kids this month. Big snakeheads this month. So, hey, people want to see your fish. And you know what? Honestly, it doesn't even really matter if it's a big fish, a little fish. It's there. It's your fish. You're proud of it. Size doesn't necessarily matter. I think, it's just a smart thing. So I want to see your pictures. Everybody wants to see your pictures, and everybody just peepees and moan about Facebook. So put it in a magazine, right? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Print it out.
Epic.
Autograph it for your friends.
So, Joey, you been fishing this week?
Yeah, I was out yesterday. That's the first
me.
time I fished midday in a long time.
Nice.
Actually, since I fished St. George and I got horribly sunburnt. I got new gear since then, which actually it wasn't ungodly hot yesterday, which was nice.
That was nice yesterday.
And I fished before that. I don't know when I fished. Rona time is going weird.
Yeah.
I actually went after my ortho surgeon thing yesterday. It was, I knew I had a good tide in the middle of the day, and that water is high. I don't think I saw a low tide.
Wow.
Like, I don't know.
But it's moving?
You can definitely tell the water was moving, but when I came in, it was supposed to be dead low, and it was almost up to my dock. The waters are extremely high, and then at high tide, it was above some piers and certain, Solomon's, it had it over the road to Tiki.
Huh. It's all the rain.
Yeah, so we had all that.
And we're just starting to see.
So we actually had the tail end of that hurricane on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was way off the shore, or way offshore. No, it actually did pretty good. I ventured out a little bit more. I'm getting a thing though where I think I only have so much time, so I hit the spots I know.
Do the same thing.
It happens, but I did venture out more in new places in the creek. Found the little puppy drum, little redfish, some decent size too.
Now, are they further down the creek towards the mouth of the river, or are you finding them up the creek, or are you finding them all over the place?
Everywhere I've been, I've found them. And
really?
I'm mostly staying north of where St. John's and Mill Creek come together. Even Eric, though, was catching them at the mouth of Mill Creek.
All the way down.
Which is, just up the river right here, up the creek from here. It's not far, but it's, it's moving a little bit. I actually went all the way around to where Our Lady Star of the Sea was, and I was starting to catch some bigger redfish.
Oh, really?
Yesterday. I think my biggest was 16.
That's a nice fish.
And man, I know those fish are going to be big. They grow so fast. They're going to be, I'm going to start catching 20s in the fall. It was pretty cool though. The water is really nice over there. You get to one side and they rebuilt all the structure. No, like during low tide, all the rocks that usually are fully exposed at low tide were underwater. So fish were really up in there in the reeds. So I pulled a couple out of there. And
what were you pulling them out with? What were you
I was actually throwing my fly rod a lot.
Oh, cool.
But even with my little my light tackle, like quarter ounce jig heads with little Mr. Twisters or paddle tails, it's kind of the key for that. And as weird as it sounds, white is the hot color for me with those. I put on the orange. I put on the orange pink with chartreuse tail. It does okay, but when you throw white out there, I use pink heads. I don't know. I just thought that's the ones I bought. Yeah. But the white Mr. Twister tails,
like 3-inch.
Yeah, they're not huge. Probably 2, 3.
2, 3 inch,
big enough to where I'm going to weed out the really small perch.
Yeah.
And the nice thing with that though is on the same thing. I caught a 22-inch striper out in the creek, bycatch. Let's say, I mean, you can catch everything on it.
Yeah.
Little specks, whatever.
Jerry, when we were out back in March out in Angemoy Creek, he caught a 31-inch snakehead on a 1/4-ounce white jig head with a 3-inch Mr. Twister tail.
Oh yeah, that thing's killer.
31-inch, like 8.5-pound snakehead.
I think those get overlooked. I overlooked them for a while. Like you're like, oh, that's a stupid little thing.
Yeah.
You want to get all sophisticated. And, no, man, like a little jig head, and that little son of a nutcracker.
Always keep them in my box.
Oh yeah,
and yellow ones too. I keep 3 colors: white, yellow, and not chartreuse. Yellow.
Oh, yellow,
and like a mustard yellow, and black.
Oh yeah,
black.
I don't know. They've been. I loaded up at Tackle Box. I got low. That's why I went to Dick's the other day because we were there. Tackle Box is pretty stocked on that stuff though. If you're in the St. Mary's Calvert area,
I dropped some magazines off in there week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I guess.
Still low on some stuff, but they make up for it in other areas.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff in there.
But yeah, I was throwing flies too. But no, I was sitting in the creek. The creek well definitely caught more striper than I was planning on it, but I wasn't fishing for them. The bites for those, that people should be fishing for them now has been really good at the mouth of the creek going into the river.
You said 22 inches?
My biggest is 22, and I had a couple 18s.
That looks good for September, though.
Oh, yeah.
And you can actually start targeting them again.
But I was fishing areas where I should have been catching specks. I didn't catch a speck. Same thing, the paddle tails for those. I use GI jigs for some of the bigger ones, like the GI jig heads.
Yeah.
Something that I feel like it's kind of weird. I switched to those with some of the paddle tails because I anticipate catching a bigger redfish, and I'm afraid those little tiny 1/4 ounce, but Jerry though, it's like I feel like I'm going to break the hook. Yeah. And they're really strong.
He did actually. He showed me the bait after that snakehead got off, and it was like centimeters away from falling out of that fish's mouth, straightening that hook straight out.
It was that's the only reason I'm throwing it on one of my other spinning rods. But I've been busting out the fly rod. I broke that one last week. I don't know if I talked about that.
Yeah. You send that back to them? You're going to get that replaced? Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually pretty decent. But I got a nice 5-6 weight fiberglass. Some of the fiberglass sit between weights that I was throwing yesterday. It's actually an Eagle Claw.
So
like 30 years old, brand new in box.
Next week after my KBF tournament is closed down, I want to go do that. Do you think a 5-weight? Because I have a 5-weight.
Oh, the 5-weight with these 12, 14-inch puppy drum.
Yeah.
I mean, my friend Tony might come down next week, and he's all excited. He's like, yeah, I want to bring like a couple 5-weights, and we're gonna go out in the creek. He's like, yeah, I've been to Louisiana a million times. I have catching the big reds on 8-weights, which fly rod wise, it's a bigger rod. He's like, but I'm actually, because he lives off of off of up towards the Bay Bridge. What is that? Ken Island. Okay. Prospect Bay area.
Further north.
Yeah, where he usually has a good striper by the bridge. He's got like a 30-foot contender if he wants a little boat. He's like, I'm not even taking any of my boats out this year. It's like I have no fishing to do up there. It's weird. Huh. We're out here. We're like, it's not the striper fishing I had 15 years ago, or that people talk about, where I could run out the Cedar Point and other places.
The specs and the puppy
but everything else has been great. I downsized tackle, and I'm having a blast.
Yeah,
and I'm catching a lot of fish.
I know, like last year in the spring, everybody's complaining about the only thing you catch were the catfish.
But if you learn how to catch catfish good, like adapt. I mean, I've been rambling for a while, but more redfish. But I think the more time on water and targeting them, I'm slowly finding bigger ones, and they grow quick, and they're going to be here for a while.
So as soon as you have found all the big ones, then I want to go fishing with you.
That's what Tony said. He's like,
That's a smart dude.
No, I love fishing with Tony. He's the one that showed me the fishing over in Lewis, and he's one of the best fly fishermen I know. He puts on that big thing called Tie Fest every year, and he actually runs a huge conservation group, or he's part of the board.
Cool.
which I'm actually on a webinar tomorrow night listening to him.
I probably don't want to go fishing with my fly rod with somebody like that then, because I'm going to be
no, but Tony is totally the no, but Tony's awesome. I mean, Tony, I still learn from him. He still learns from me. I'm not, he's very easy.
So when I was a kid, we used to poor man fish fly. We take our spinning rods and set the drag reel light and strip the line out and actually take those little like rubber. I mean, I'm talking about I was a kid, little rubber spider legs, and we would literally fly fish with our spinning rods. Well, you're a kid. I mean, that's the way you do it. So I learned doing it the hard way. There
you go. I will. I mean, that's my quick rundown. I mean, the saltwater fishing is good if you don't focus 100% on catching that huge striper or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Match your tackle to what you want to have fun with.
Downsize a little bit.
Yeah.
And you'll have a blast.
Yeah, I'm all about that. I'm all about that.
Did we talk about it this podcast or the last one?
What?
Maybe next Monday going up. I want to go up to the gunpowder after my physical therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's early.
We talked about it on the other podcast.
Because that'll actually, if we leave early morning, we beat the Baltimore traffic. Because there's still some traffic now. People are starting to go back to work.
Well, I want to do something different because my August has been tough. I'll be honest with you.
I know you are sitting at number 4 in the KBF. And there's no offense, here's a huge jump in the.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Those Eastern Shore boys.
The Eastern Shore boys are just slaying them over there in those mill ponds, dude. They're just ridiculous. They go out and like one day they'll put up 100 inches of fish.
Oh yeah, I mean. Number 2 is 99 inches.
But even at that, I mean, I had 92 inches I think my June or July, one of the two. I think it was June was 92 and a half inches. But, I went away for that week. And it's funny how, just getting out of sync with your fishing that you're doing. Because I came back and went over to Mallows Bay, and that's chock full of hydrilla. You can't even get in it. You can't get a boat up in it. And, it just takes a little bit of time to get out of sync with your water. And it was just like a week or a week and a half that I didn't fish some of these places. It was tough. But I have been able to struggle through. I got, 83 and a half inches on the board. Sitting in 4th, which I think I'm just going to be happy with. So if
you
it
got
holds
a couple
up,
inches on William Jones.
It goes all the way to Friday. And I don't know. Somebody else may jump up and throw a few more inches. I got one fish that's realistic that I could call. It's at 14 inches. I got a bunch of 17 and a quarter, 17 and a half, 17 and 3/4. And I got one fish sitting down there at 14 inches. So it's realistic. I could pretty, I don't want to say easily, but, I should be able to add a couple of inches to the board, but I'm just not sure I'm going to worry about it. It closes out this coming Friday on the 21st. I had a weird catch fishing yesterday. I should have gone fishing with you yesterday. I slayed away for like 3.5 hours and had one like probably 10 or 11 inch bass and a turtle, one of the sliders, a painted turtle. And it foul hooked him in one of his front legs.
Oh, poor little fella.
Well, it wasn't deep. It just, he couldn't seem to figure out, because every time he would try to get away from it, I got him up to the boat and I was like, I want to do it with you. He's hissing at me.
Was it alligator snapper turtle?
No. It's just a red painted slider, but he was big.
How fat
I know. You watch those pictures of those. It's probably about 12 inches front to back. It's a nice size turtle. I did see some alligator snapper turtles over there at Seven Ponds. There are a couple of big turtles in there.
I feel like they'd come after you in your kayaking.
I watch their bubbles now, and I try to stay away from them, the beavers and those big old turtles. But I was able to kind of get him up to the side of the boat, and he would pull his leg in every time I'd try to get down there to him. And finally, he pulled his head back but left his leg out, and I was able to it was really lightly hooked. It wasn't even up to the barb, and he couldn't seem to figure out how to fall off of it. And so I was able to kind of grab a hold of the wire hook and just give it just a little twist, and he toppled off. But, I do not want to catch turtles ever. I don't know that that's a good thing. I don't like catching turtles. I don't like hurting turtles.
I like turtles.
I like turtles. Turtles are awesome, and I don't want to hurt them. And I feel good that I didn't hurt this one. So, crab catch was great last week, dude. I legit put a lot of crabs in the keeper last week. I had about a half a bushel and a few like big jimmies. Like I'm talking like 7-inch, 7.5-inch big crabs. So it was a good week. I fished the pots hard. I keep a couple of pots down on the pier on the creek, and I got a big, crab keeper down there. And so I fished them every day and was able to cull through and, get them out. We don't catch a lot of small crabs. I guess they, the rings. Oh, cramped up again. Sorry, everybody. Did a big bike ride today. My legs are cramping up.
You want a banana?
No.
I got frozen bananas for my dog in slices.
It was just a really good catch last week, and was excited about it. This is the first really good week we've had, and I fished the pots hard, and managed them every day, and fresh baits, and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
It makes a difference when you let it go a couple of days in between fishing your pots. It kind of makes a difference.
Go catch some spot and throw them in there.
I did have a probably close to 5-pound catfish.
Sorry, perch, not
that
spot.
figured out a way to wiggle into one of the crab pots this last
Did you let
week.
it go or did you eat it?
I actually let him go because sometimes they get in there and they get beat up, and they're missing their tails, and so this guy hadn't been in there
Crabs
long.
are savages.
So no, they beat themselves up inside the pot. They're down in that bottom section and they're just flailing around, and if that happens and the fish is in dire straits, it becomes bait. I'll take him and he becomes crab bait. But this one, I think he had just gotten in there because he wasn't beat up at all. So I was pretty happy to be able to let him off the hook. Honestly, I just didn't want to deal with it. It was the day that I was taking the crabs to cook them, and that was the day that the fish got in, and I just I didn't want to deal with it. So, but it was a good week. I've been able to. I'm catching like one fish per trip though, like one 17-inch fish, and I ought to just catch that fish and then leave. Is what I ought to do. Stop fishing, because that's the same.
Remember that? I think the last time I fished for bass with you is Mallows Bay.
Yeah,
we went like hours, and then we left, and then you caught your one fish, and you were
I was like, I'm out.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, oh,
nope, done, gone, bye.
Yep.
Don't want to be here anymore. And the ponds I've been fishing have been filling in with hydrilla, and you know what? I have never quite. I've got this as something to talk about. I have never really been confident fishing hydrilla. Now I know, dragging frogs across the top, it's never produced for me. I've never been actually able to make that happen.
I don't know if we have the fishery for that. It seems like
the bass will, and the snakehead will come out of that hydrilla. But when it gets so thick that it doesn't have pockets,
so it gets so thick that how the frick are they gonna get through it?
They can't. They're not sitting underneath it because when you're looking at hydrilla like at Mallows Bay, because it's chock
it chalks up there. Yeah,
it is.
That's how that snakehead jumped on my boat last year.
There's like one path to go back into that north trib that's about as wide as a kayak. Everything else is socked.
Oh no, it was the one that you caught your fish in when I went with you that I had the snakehead incident.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets bad in there.
And I know that there's all this talk about the thermocline and about how the hydrilla will root, but it won't grow underneath the thermocline. So you figure out where that is, and it kind of mats up on top, and you can punch through and get to the open area underneath. But if you're fishing in a pond that's 3 feet deep, and the hydrilla goes from the bottom all the way to the top, I don't know that you're punching through that.
Yeah.
So, and when the water gets low because of the heat of the summer, and then it's just literally just mat on top with just a wall of weed. So fishing the edges, finding the edges, I've been doing a lot of that, and that's produced for me. I've caught a couple of fish off of the edges with slow dropping some soft plastics, like find where that deep water edge that hydrilla is, and it's like 6 feet, and it comes up on a ledge where that hydrilla lives, and so but it's like picking in those pockets. I've had some good success with that, but I've never been able to figure out the whole punching through with big weights and big baits.
Yeah,
kind of sticking it through, and maybe it's because I fish smaller water, so and I've never really fished a hydrilla bed that is submerged 4 feet below the surface, where fish are going to hold on top of that. Because I enjoy, and probably the thing that I do the most is little small water.
Well, that's what you need the ladder for.
Yeah.
So you can see that.
So I did learn one thing doing some research, that somebody suggested you take your paddle and you go into that thick hydrilla and you make a hole. You make an opening. Like you stir it up and you make an opening. And then you come back the next day or the day after and fish that hole. I've never thought about trying to do that, but it seems to make sense that if those fish want to relate to the hydrilla, but it's so thick top to bottom that they can't. Going in there, it's probably it's almost like you're just extending the edges, though, because if the hydrilla is so thick that the fish can't get in there. But a couple of times I've caught little bass this year, and when the water's up and you got 6 inches above the hydrilla, when you get a sudden storm or a tropical storm comes through, the water fills up and you run something across the top like a little beetle spin, and a little 12-inch fish will come up and take it. And then when you put them back in the water, it's almost like they just drop right back down into the hydrilla. It's like they just disappear into this cloud of weed. So I don't know. Maybe I'm hoping that fishing, that maybe there are some people out there that have a better take on hydrilla fishing that could come. Have you ever done it? Have you ever really had any success?
I have no real experience.
Yeah,
I kind of see that, and I'm like, just get turned off.
Well, you fish the edges. That's what you do, and that's what I did over at Mallows Bay, and with success. Because those fish, when you have a lot of edge and it's jagged, those fish are going to sit back up in those edges, which is kind of easy to understand. But when you're fishing ponds that, it's a very small section, and, that weed is so thick that nothing's getting in there, it's tough. Yeah. Now, I've also noticed that a lot of times the hydrilla will leave almost like a gutter between the bank and where that hydrilla starts. And I don't know if that's a common kind of thing, but I have tried unsuccessfully so far this year to get some baits up in that little gutter and kind of just maybe some drop shots. I don't know. Another thing that I did this week, I'm gonna be honest with you, Joey, I've gotten a little lazy. I think because I wasn't catching fish, and I like to fish my 5-inch Senkos with a wide gap worm hook, because it's really easy to kind of once you get that hook point straight up through that Senko and curl it around, you can kind of skin hook the tip, and it's really weedless. But when I want to go back to throw wacky, I wasn't taking that wide gap worm hook off, and I was just switching the bait, the orientation of the bait.
That's something I would do.
And so I got a little lazy, but this last week I was having a real hard day. I went to throw a drop shot to see if I could bounce it around in some of that weed, unsuccessfully, I might add. So what I ended up doing was I still had, and again, this is lazy, but it worked out good. I still had that little finesse rig, or that little finesse hook. I just cut off the drop shot bottom. Yeah. And I put that little 2/0 finesse hook into my wacky. Immediately, fish. It was like, you're an idiot. It was one of those aha moments where it's like you're throwing a big old piece of metal out there, and the water's cleared up because of the hydrilla, so they're seeing that hook and they're not committing to it. So that's a little kind of a tip, but I don't know. I think I need to focus on my hydrilla fishing.
Hydrilla,
yeah.
I do want to add, I didn't talk about the I think I was going to say it's a striper.
Yeah.
I think if kayak wise, everyone's using it. Boat wise, I don't know if people do, but nets. So I don't handle my stripers. I actually don't like I only took a couple, even the little puppy drum. If there's one, I'll take my one picture for the day. Yeah. Most of the stuff I'm not even getting out of the net.
I mean,
keep it in the water.
If you got a real big fish,
I got a real. Yeah, I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna figure that out. But that's gonna be like a redfish, not a striper. Yeah. I mean, I'm like a 22-inch striper is not picture worthy. Yeah. I took a couple of some other ones in the net, but I usually keep them in the water the whole time.
That's just we talked about that last week. You're really very good at that. I am probably not, because I always want to get them up and take a picture of them. But
it is what it is. I did fully commit to rod building this week.
Yeah,
all my stuff came in. I ordered Mudhole Custom Tackle. They do tackle stuff, but they like every type of rod building thing you can want. I ordered from them Friday morning or Thursday night. I think it's Friday morning. It showed up Monday. Oh, they said 4 to 7 days from Florida.
Wow!
I ended up actually buying a whole kit because
must not have been the Postal Service.
No, it was UPS. The whole box came, and I'm really not a kit person. I learned that from fly tying. But they actually had some people, when they have kits, have it figured out. And so I bought a huge kit, and I got some blanks for a fly rod first. And I think after that, I'm going to do a fiberglass spinning rod.
Oh, cool.
Go old school.
Cool, yeah.
So I'm fully invested, and I'll talk about my rod building, whether it's worth it or not.
That'll be a nice, good winter fodder.
Oh, yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think I probably spent $70 on a 3-weight / 4-weight because it's fiberglass fly rod. That would probably be about $200 to $250 new.
Mm.
So I got to do all the work.
Yeah, but that's fun.
But it's fun. I mean, I loved it. That's why I tie flies and stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, but I do think a cool fiberglass spinning rod.
Yeah,
You don't really see many fiberglass spinning rods anymore.
I know that
Because
Christine Fisher fishes a fiberglass rod.
Oh, does she?
Yeah,
I know I would say the youths, the younger people, are bringing them back on the fly fishing side.
Really?
And it's gotten big.
Cool.
On fly fishing wise, and I think some rod companies are starting to come back spinning and stuff for that on this side. I don't know. It's cool. Fiberglass has a totally different feel.
If you haven't watched her latest video on Susquehanna,
I haven't.
It's really good. She just fished the same tournament that Mike Iaconelli fished, and she placed well in that tournament. Her tournament videos are so good to watch.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
She does like the talk through of what her plan was for that day, and then it's all about the fishing, and then she'll do multiple days. But the one that she did off Susquehanna, I took me a while to actually get to it because it's kind of long. It's like 25 minutes.
Well, say that's why I haven't watched it
yet. Yeah, but it went like that because it's like, wow, it's engaging, and it's like she's talking through the plan and how she adapted and how she changed and how she did practice for it. That chick can fish.
Oh yeah,
that chick is no doubt legit. She is. Kicking ass and taking names.
Because the other one I was going to bring up was Greg Blanchard. He's got another. Have you ever watched his channel?
I've seen the name. I don't know that I'm subscribed to that.
Another good one that's Chesapeake Angler is also a good YouTube channel. But Greg Blanchard is a very decent. He's a very good KBF. He does a lot of tournaments.
Yeah.
He's young and he does the same thing. His videos are about like 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. I watched his other one the other night, which was really good on KBF Nationals. I think last year.
I think once you get a following, then you can lengthen the time of your videos. I try to keep mine like 10 minutes because people don't know who they are.
His are like her, like it's very like it's engaging the whole time. Yeah, and he's young. He knows how to find good fish, big fish. He does fish out of a native and not a Hobie. But he's got some.
Don't go there again.
I'm just poking at Jerry. I know we probably focus more on the kayak fishing because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
He's got another good engaging channel. I'd rather watch YouTube stuff. I mean, I literally mailed off my cable box I never used today.
Yep, I watch mostly YouTube and Netflix and stuff.
He talks about his tournaments well. He lives like Northern California, but he does all the KBF. They're good. She travels all over.
Oh, gosh, she does.
That's not his living. I think that's her living.
She makes a living off of it. She does. She makes.
He did pull in like a $10,000 check at KBF Nationals last year for like 5th or 6th place.
That's gonna be me in October. Yeah. I'm doing that.
Is that still a thing? Are they still having it?
Supposedly. I haven't registered for it yet.
Your first mate. I'll sit in the back of your kayak.
Yeah, you could be my camera guy.
That's the one thing. And I'll stop rambling. Is even when I was out yesterday, I told you, I was like, oh yeah, I got all my stuff. I don't have the whole full pole set up. It's like I need to do something little for like little tiny 15-second Instagram clips.
Okay, so
nothing.
Let me give you a little bit of because I added a third camera to my mix now. So I've got my camera that's on the boom pole that swings out over the side of the boat. I got the bow camera that faces back at me.
Yes.
And I took my little session. I was like, what can I do with this third camera?
You attach it to your line and throw it in the water?
No.
You should.
But I do have it rigged now so I can actually get underwater shots, and I'll show you the first one I did on my little team tank.
That's what I wanted yesterday.
So I took, those, and you may have turned me on to it, the little jojobi spider legs.
Yeah.
So do this. Take the legs, pop the whole leg off, take the bottom stopper off, and attach it on. So now you got a longer, and then take the third one. So now you've got a flexible
thing
that's really long. And I take it and I
Do you have a tether on that?
No, because what I'm doing.
What you're about to do is how the Mad Woman has one of mine.
Well, no, I put it down inside my PFD.
Yep.
But I probably should put a tether on it, and that's a good idea. Thank you for that. I will. So I put it down inside here so it sits right in the front. But you were on a step. You were on a sup, so you were standing up.
I was on my cooler.
Yeah, but
so what happens is you forget that you have it there.
Yeah.
In the rare occasion you unzip your life jacket to move something, they're like,
I never unzip my. I never do.
I never do. That day though, I lost one.
Yeah.
Lost it in the Mattawoman.
So I then take it, and since it's long and it's twisty,
Yep.
I can put the camera down in the water and take the little thing and put it up through the handle on the side of my kayak and wrap it a couple times.
Nice.
So that the camera's down in the water so I can catch a release. I didn't catch many fish when I did that, but I got one, and it's kind of cool.
See, it's one of the things where it wasn't until after I released multiple fish that I was like, oh, I should have put my goat.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes down to people doing 20-minute, people doing fishing YouTube videos, it takes a lot of work.
Because you got to get, what I really wanted to do was just get some extra B-roll stuff, like paddling the boat. And I still have a plan to take my Yak Attack pole.
Oh, and set it out.
And set it out and put a camera mount on it and drive it into the muck and then actually catch some like off-boat kind of.
I need to get the drone out. We talked about last week.
It'd be good for B-roll. I don't know that, you'd have to sit in that thing, in front of that thing for a long time to actually make it produce, but.
Anyway, I rambled a lot this episode.
That's okay.
It's 13.
It's what we do. It's our podcast. We
Yeah,
can do whatever we want. We introduced this last week.
Yep.
And I put a little more oomph into it this week.
Ooh, will we go on and on about this one like the last one?
Maybe.
Last episode
Maybe
or
not.
last
I don't think
podcast?
so. They're pretty straightforward. Although the first one may be controversial. It's time for our this or that segment. I'm going to throw out two things that oppose each other. Joey, you're going to answer first. I'm going to answer second. And here we go. A high-end, expensive tackle setup, rod reel, that, combined with cheap sub $4 baits. So high-end tackle, cheap baits, or low-end tackle, your Walmart and Dick's Sporting Goods, terminal tackle, and high-end baits. Which would you rather go?
See, I sound like a snob if I choose high-end tackle.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm young. So I've gotten into philosophy of buy once.
Yeah.
Or as I've gotten older and wiser,
Yeah.
than buying multiple cheaper stuff.
Yeah.
No,
I think that's perfectly legit.
Some of my spinning stuff is just, it is what it is. And I don't buy super high-end stuff. But, look at that fly rod I broke. It was a high-end fly rod.
Yeah.
And it cost $50. It's
because
gonna
it's
cost me
quality.
shipping. It's quality.
Yeah, it's quality.
That they will fix it for me.
Stand
so I look
behind
at that. But I've also seen people lose fish or blow up drags on cheap stuff. And I don't know. Not everyone's going to afford high-end. I'd rather... I can't afford high-end, but I save or, I find another way to buy it. And then I got good stuff that's going to last me 10 years, not 1 year.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm also catching all my little puppy drum on cheap little Mr. Twisters and like 30 little jig heads for like $4 from the tackle box.
We're kind of on the same page.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather go with the higher end tackle because, I throw cheap baits anyway.
Yeah.
The majority of my fish that I've caught this year that have been scoring fish have been on plastics.
Yeah.
And they don't cost nothing.
Gary Yamamoto.
Well, even then though, $8 for a dozen of those things, and a 50-cent hook or $1 hook.
For $10 you can buy like 100 or 50 of them of Yum.
Yeah.
Of the Gary
They're
Yamamoto.
not the same though.
They're probably the same exact thing.
Nah, I don't think they're the same. There's the salt in the Senkos and
Put some garlic in
Gary
there
Yamamotos.
with the carb.
So I think I'd rather go that direction, although I think I'm actually in the camp of all my tackle is low-end tackle, and I use cheap $4 baits. So, but to have a nice drag set up, because, man, you're right, a jerky drag is going to lose a fish. So to have really nice, quality tackle and then learn, you should learn how to fish on cheaper baits.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to make your life a whole lot more enjoyable.
That was it was hard. I really just didn't care as we fished the club and I lost that Zara spook in that tree.
Yeah.
I was just, I'm not putting everything back in the water to get a thing. Someone probably got the $10 spook.
You know what I did?
That
I bought
sucked.
I may have talked about this last week. I bought one of the fat whopper ploppers, the 75s.
Yeah.
And I never caught a fish on it. And I was casting it across the bow of the boat. And I have to be real careful because I have the pole up there on the front.
Yeah.
And it smacked that pole and it went out. And I was like, oh, no, I hope I didn't break that thing. Got in and literally split that whopper plopper in two. It came back to the boat all gimpy and like plastic. It was rolling around all over the place. So I think we're actually, excuse me, both in the same camp.
That's why I'm making my own tackle soon.
Smart.
I'm obviously not going to build a reel.
Well, I'm saving all my old worms. I'm going to melt them down and figure out a way
I've
to...
seen that on TikTok or whatever it pops up at. There's actually some good fishing stuff on TikTok.
So,
Don't
next
join
item
TikTok.
on this or that, because we kind of agreed on that first one.
Yeah.
Big fish, small fight, or small fish, big fight.
Oh man, that's redfish puppy drum right there. Like those little sons of guns.
Son of a biscuit.
The sons of man, they're probably I think one of the best size I think saltwater wise.
So small fish, big fight for you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's totally different. You know when you
'Cause
have
you can
perch and you
downsize
know
the
when you
tackle.
have a puppy drum.
Yeah, you can downsize your tackle to have
Oh, yeah.
a great time with
And you
that.
have a blast.
Match the tackle to the fish.
I don't know. I feel like some of the sticks I've been catching recently feel like big fish where there's like no fight. Big old stick fish. I'd rather have small fish, big fight.
So I caught one of my fish, and we talked about this last week. That 17 and a quarter I caught over at Mallows Bay that was
thought it
basically
was
a
like a
pound.
Yeah.
It was in the grass and it just like came up. And I have come to find out that fish, I posted that on KBF on the member site and got a lot of other people that were posting strikingly similar pictures. And there's something called plastic gut. So they eat so much plastic that they then can't digest food properly. And
That's
so
what I need.
stuff you full of Cinco's.
Have you seen like the videos of people like pulling the worms out of like a largemouth pooper hole? What are they called?
No,
The fish?
yeah.
I don't know the anatomy of a fish.
Yeah.
They've been they've almost worked their way through,
Yeah.
and they've pulled them out of the butt of the fish.
Well, I've never been one to toss my plastics over the side of the boat. I keep them
Oh,
because
that's
I want
dumb,
to try
yeah.
to. But a lot of people do it. And if you've never thought about that, then that's the end result of that.
Well, you're obviously catching them on them. They're going to keep eating them.
Yeah,
if
they're
you're
going to
down
keep eating them. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just now they're not getting the
there. The hook stuff.
punished, not getting the hook.
Yeah.
So that was a big fish with no fight.
Yeah.
Now, I would think because with tournament fishing, I want the big fish.
You want it in as quick as possible, though.
Yeah.
You watch these YouTube channels we were talking about.
Yeah.
How quick people rip those fish in.
Oh yeah, they just flip them right in the boat. It's like
Yeah.
boom, boom.
It's like there's no
Yeah.
fight.
So, but I do the angler in me loves the idea of small fish, match tackle, big fight. Like when we were when I was down in North Carolina fishing those rock bass and the smallmouth.
Mhm.
I mean, those were not big fish, but ultralight tackle, 4-foot
yeah.
rods on 2-foot line, in moving water. That was so much fun catching a fish. It was like 10 inches.
Oh yeah.
So I the truest in me says small fish, big fight, but the tournament fisherman in me says big fish, small fight.
Speaking of tackle and quality, so I got I probably bought it at Kmart when Kmart was a thing. With my I got this 15 years ago. One of my ultralight. I use a Shimano 1000 series reel on it, so it's not really ultralight, but
Yeah.
it's not what I'm throwing out for stripers and stuff normally. And I was out there yesterday, and I keep thinking why my upper, because it's a 2-piece, so most of my nicer stuff's 1-piece, like my St. Croix and all. But why the my guys are always why is everything twisted all the time? So I fish for a little bit, and I'm like, I didn't even touch it. Why is it twisted again? Here's quality right there. Is but it's lasted a while. Is my whole actual reel seat and bottom hand cork is slowly just keeps twisting.
So it wasn't the eyelets, it wasn't the rod twisting, it was the
whole
seat.
reel seat. I'm like, I finally realized at the end, I was like, I could probably pull this whole thing off and epoxy it and put it back on.
It's just not worth it.
I'll just use it till it dies, and then I'll find something to replace it with. So that right,
funny.
I mean, I have had it for a while, but I was like, oh my god, the whole freaking thing is moving. Every time I catch a fish, it puts the torque on it.
That's having to buy that rod over and over and over and over and over and over again.
But I have had it for a while.
Yeah.
Nothing special, no big name on it. It's just,
So
but I've always
Kmart on
loved it.
Yeah.
It's a decent rod. I don't know how much I paid for it, but
I got
it failed.
I got a whole bunch of rods one time that were on clearance at Kmart, and they were marked down to $1. I think I still have a whole bunch of those laying around with the tags on them that say $1 or $2 or
You could open a tackle shop in your big garage.
you know it. I probably could. All right, so that was fun. Do you ever got anything more else before we?
No, I need to let you go to bed.
Shut this down.
9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's late. If you're looking to get in touch with us, folks, facebook.com/Angler Magazine Chesapeake. On Instagram, you can find the magazine at Chesapeake Angler, and you can find me at BN Rains, Raines. Joey, how can they get in touch with you, my friend?
Both of mine are at Joey Sikorsky 24. Find me somehow with somewhere because my last name is long. Or at Pack Paddles for my kayak shop. And I need to promote. I have some Bonafides and natives coming in.
Yes, sir.
I have some Hurricanes coming in with some sit-on-tops for anyone looking at kayak fishing that work really well as some light-duty kayak fishing. But
wow, so if you hung around to the 50-minute mark?
If you're getting here, you're finding out the deals because no one can find fishing kayaks right now. I should have started out with this. Bonafide allocated me 2 boats, and Native allocated me 2 boats. And for those that don't know, Bonafide and Native sit under one roof by a company called Big Adventures. So they're made down in Fletcher, North Carolina, which is outside Asheville.
Really?
And
I know Fletcher.
It's you drive up the road and you're in Asheville getting some nice Wicked Weed beer.
Yeah.
I'm getting an RS 117, which my dad has, and then an SS 107, which is their tournament ready boat.
Oh, that's the 11-foot version of, or 10 whatever, 10.5 foot of
their
tournament
Super
boat. Yeah, nice.
Nice. They have the SS 127, which is what everyone and their dog uses. Chad Hoover, Brad Hicks, a bunch of these big names.
Great boat, but great platform to put trolling motor or Torpedo on.
So I was thinking about it yesterday. And here I go, rambling again. But I was like, man, I see all these dudes in these Torpedos, and I'm like, why do they spend all this money?
They're so expensive.
But they're also buying, and no offense, this sounds... So you could spend about $3,000 on a Hobie or a Native Titan or whatever, or you could spend about $1,500 on a Bonafide SS whatever, and you could buy a Torpedo, and you're still about the same price for a boat.
Mm-hmm.
The downside is once you're in your location, you don't have that fine tuning of the drive unit.
Yeah,
but you don't have to wait till you have all $3,000 to buy the boat, and you can buy the Bonafide first, and you can add the Torpedo or whatever you want to do.
Or just figure out a way to mount a trolling motor on it.
Yeah.
That's easy too.
There's so much stuff. I mean, those Bonafides are really set up for tournaments, for fishing.
So you're getting 2 of the Bonafides,
and then a Native Slayer 10, which is probably our most popular boat. It's easy, compact. It fishes a big water well. It maneuvers pretty easily.
I like a 12-foot boat though.
And then say I'm 6 foot and 200 pounds. I need the room.
Yep.
And the weight.
Same here.
But I'm getting a Slayer Max as my other Native boat. No Titans.
No Titans.
I told you I was thinking about Titan 12 to play around with. Yeah. That'd be cool. Because I have envious of the Hobie Pro anglers.
So 2 Native Slayers?
2 Native Slayers and 2 Bonafides. They will be in September-ish. And I know once I fully announce it, I haven't made an advertisement. They're probably going to go pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. They're going to go like that.
I think my friend Tony already wants one of the Bonafides that's coming down to fish here. Other than you, he's the other first person I told. And he's been waiting on one for like months.
I tried to sell them. I tried to get somebody that I know.
They'll sell.
Yeah, they're going to go fast.
Worst case, it's not like I'm stuck with 30 boats going into next year. I like to go into November without any inventory.
Because then it just
which right now I have no inventory.
You have to blow it out.
Because then they make you do a preseason anyway, so it's going to be a different year. But yeah, if anyone's interested, I have a Slayer 10 and a Slayer Max for people to try out already in the store if they want to purchase. My dad has the RS 117 if anyone wants to try it out. I just don't have the SS 107 yet.
Cool.
But anyway, that's my ramble. I should have promoted the store a little earlier.
Well, I'll tease that in the opening so that people will stick around to the 50-minute mark to find out what the deals are on fishing kayaks. If you want to find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Chesapeake Angler. And, of course, you can always read the e-magazine online at ChesapeakeAnglerMag.com and look for it in the finer establishments that fishermen and anglers might frequent, because you will probably find it there as well.
Yep.
All right, you got anything else, Joey?
No, we went into this before we recorded saying it's going to be a short, quick episode. We're pretty good at our hour mark on stuff.
We're at an hour mark. We're right on the money.
We've been podding for 2 hours.
Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we will talk at you again next week. Until then, tight lines.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.